do we have to say about what Colin had to say about USC football? Are Skylar and Reagan contenders or pretenders? And whose half-court shot is worse, Daniel's or Jordan's? Stay tuned to find out on this episode of The Water Cooler. Good evening and welcome to The Water Cooler. I'm Paige Arredondo on the desk with Carlo Jimenez and Nicole Sheeran. A dynamic duo, may I add. We had quite a break and I know we're all pumped to be back, so let's get right into it with Water Cooler Talk. How are you guys feeling today?
Good.
It's good to be back.
Ready to go? Ready to talk some sports?
So ready.
All right, let's do it. Spring practices are underway as the Pac-12 experiences a season of change. There are new head coaches at the three biggest jobs in the league. And Trojans coach Lincoln Riley has suddenly given West Coast football a new face. In the spring, fans often get caught up establishing depth charts and predicting playbooks, but honestly, that's not even what these practices are about. Spring is the time to go back to basics and focus on individual player development. Let's see what Colin Cowherd had to say about USC's first practice. Sources supposedly told Colin at Lincoln Riley's first USC practice was flawless. One observer noted some are calling it the greatest practice ever on a college campus. All right, what do you guys think about the tweet?
I'd like to point one thing out before we get into it. The tweet was sent at 2:48, and practice doesn't start till 3 o'clock. So I know Colin does not have a time machine with how bad some of his takes are, so I'm not sure who's telling him this information, but he might want to check himself.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing I have about spring practice. It's like the spring break of football. You know, the weather's nice. Some teams go to the beach for practice one day. They have a pool day. So for a lot of teams, I don't really see the glitz and glam about it. However, I will say with USC, new head coach Lincoln Riley, they have, 13 transfers on the team now? Mm-hmm. It is essential for a team like this that needs to build that chemistry and get ready for the season. So.
Yeah. And there's a whole lot of talk right now about how it looks like a great team and they're so energized, but I mean, we're 4 months away from the season starting. 4 months ago, USC's basketball team was top 5 in the country, and they haven't played in 3 weeks. So I think we need to check ourselves and not hand them the crown before they play their first game against the Rice Owls.
No, that's fair. I mean, I will say one thing, though. The energy that I've noticed from these spring practices to last season is a complete 180. So it's exciting. It's fun to watch. Yeah. I think the season's going to be super fun. But the hype around spring practice, we need to all pipe down. I need to see some wins on the board before we get anywhere close to all of that.
Yeah, it's definitely refreshing, but we'll have to wait and see. It's the month of March, and March Madness has quickly become March Sadness for several top-seeded teams in the NCAA tournament. In fact, this might just be one of college basketball's best postseason events in recent history. St. Peter's, a school with under 3,000 students, made the Elite Eight as a 15 seed. USC couldn't survive past Game 1. And 3 of the top seeds were eliminated before the second weekend. In the end, we're left with the Blue Bloods. Duke, UNC, Kansas, and Villanova are the last 4 teams standing. So, guys, I know you've been keeping up with the tourney. What are your reactions so far?
Yeah, I mean, the St. Peter's run has got to be one of the coolest things the tournament's ever seen. I mean, this is a school that they couldn't even play music in their gym because they're next to Philosophy Building, a school that coaches' offices constantly flooded, and yet they're able to go farther than any team ever has that's 13 seed or lower. It's a really cool run, and it's why March Madness is so much fun to watch.
No, exactly. I mean, people love a Cinderella story. That's what this tournament's about. It was, I guarantee you, everyone in the U.S. was rooting for St. Peter's. I will say, too, the game I'm most excited about is UNC Duke. I know we're left with 4 Blue Bloods. I know everyone was talking about the Cinderella story, and we're essentially left with those 4 in the end. Mm-hmm. But you have UNC, their number 8 seed, taking on Duke. I mean, that's a rival in itself, so I still think there are a lot of fun games left. I'm excited to see what happens, but I am pretty bummed that St. Peter's is out.
Absolutely. Well, Nicole touched on it, but North Carolina and Duke will meet for the first time ever in the NCAA tournament this Saturday. That's all everyone's talking about. I mean, country singer Eric Church literally canceled his concert so he can watch the game. Is the UNC-Duke matchup the most hyped since the 1979 finals when Magic Johnson and Michigan State beat Penn?
I mean, I think it has to be. You just look at the storylines, Coach K's final year, and not only that, but UNC spoiled his home finale at Cameron Indoor, and so there's a little bit of a wrinkle just in terms of the season itself and a chance to go to the championship game on the line. I mean, that's enough. There's 3 or 4 storylines that could headline here, and it's just fantastic for everyone who's a sports fan. This is going to be a great game.
No, I'm super excited. I think everyone's going to be watching this game. My cousins went to UNC. They have not stopped talking about it. I just think it's awesome because it's the first time these two teams are facing each other in the Final Four. You have Hubert, who it's his first season. Then you have Coach K, who, in my opinion, is one of the GOATs in college basketball. So
Absolutely.
I'm curious, though, Carlo. Who do you think is going to win that game?
You know, I got to go with Duke. I think, UNC's had a nice run as the 8th seed, but this is Duke's game to lose with. They have the momentum with Coach K, and this is a team that you can see it when they win games. They're not celebrating maybe as much as other teams. It is very much we are focused on winning a national championship, not on making it to New Orleans.
Yeah.
This is what they're playing for, and so I think they're a focused team that's going to come in and cause Carolina a lot of problems.
So, guys, we actually have some stats on Coach K's career. What do you guys have to say about his legacy? What is his legacy going to be?
I have a hard time answering this because I really think UNC is going to be Duke. But I will say, no matter what happens in this game, Coach K's legacy.
A legend.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
He's never not going to be a legend. He's going to go out with a bang regardless. I mean, like I said, he's one of the GOATs of college basketball. I mean, look at the numbers. 15 ACC tournaments, 12 Final Four appearances, 5 NCAA wins. Like, you can't compete with a coach like that. But I just will say, we're saying bye to Coach K, and I think we're saying bye to the Blue Devils when we take on the Tar Heels.
Yeah,
Hot take.
I think Coach K, you talk about coaches who leave an impact on players, on the people around them, on the organization they're in. But for a coach to be able to leave an impact on an entire sport, that's something you just don't see all the time. And that's really what Coach K has been able to do at Duke and how he's able to completely, change and shift the college basketball landscape. And it'll be weird next year, kind of, watching Roy Williams watch Duke or watch Carolina from the stands, seeing Coach K watch his team from the stands.
Yeah, what will it be like without Coach K?
It's kind of weird.
We've never known. Melody McBride took to the streets to ask USC students what they think about the tournament so far. Take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm Melody McBride. March Madness has been pretty crazy this year, and we want to see what USC students have to say about it.
Do you follow March Madness or, basketball and stuff?
Not whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm a big basketball fan.
I followed a little bit. I'll tune in every now and then when it's really going.
I used to follow it last year for work, but I don't anymore.
Did you expect USC to lose this early in the...
I expected us to go out similar to where we went out last year. I think we were besides Evan leaving last year, I think we were kind of set to make a run, but we just kind of played pretty bad towards the end of the year.
I just love to see everybody getting out there and playing a sport. I'm happy to hear that the USC student body is healthy and active in basketball.
St. Peter's, which is a 15 team, and they made it to the Elite Eight, which is I don't think that's ever happened before. So, any thoughts on the underdog making it this far?
I'm from New Jersey, so I was super hyped when St. Peter's was killing it. I know some people from my high school that actually committed to St. Peter's, so that was really cool. And yeah, once USC was gone, I was like, well, if it's not Drew Peterson, it's St. Peter's, so.
Well, there you have it. Even though USC is out of the tournament this year, Georgian fans have found a new team to root for in the Peacocks. Now I'll take it back to the studio for What's Buzzin' with Blau.
The MLB. Some say the season is too long, others say the games are too boring. But whether you want it or not, baseball is back. After a 99-day lockout, Major League Baseball and the MLB Players Association agreed to a new collective bargaining agreement. But when opening day comes around on April 7th, the game will look a little different thanks to the New Jersey advertisements. So I figured I would dust off the cobwebs and reopen the doors of my consulting office to match up baseball teams with their perfect sponsor. Ideally, these sponsors should represent the best the city has to offer, a defining characteristic or an aligning mission statement with the organization. Here's some no-brainers right off the bat to give you a taste. Up first, our neighbors to the north. Who better to represent the 6th than the pride of the city himself? OVO, Drake's lifestyle brand, based out of Toronto, is the perfect match for the Blue Jays. The home of lemon pepper wet wings, Wingstop, and the Atlanta Braves are a delicious match made in heaven. Now, Seattle had options. Rain-X really wanted it, but we want to highlight the fun aspects of the city. The open water, the colorful markets, the flying fish. Seattle Mariners meet Swedish fish. I think you're starting to get the idea here, so follow along with me. The Kansas City Royals have their jersey advertisement brought to you by the state of Missouri. Hopefully people will finally learn Kansas City is not in Kansas. Speaking of statehood, the Washington Nationals have a natural advertising partner. DC attracts people from around the country, and from the outside looking in, the city's enticing. But once you're in the thick of it, a weird feeling of disgust fills your stomach. Watching how the sausage gets made somehow leaves you feeling worse. Nationals meet Jack in the Box. The Yankees should be sponsored by Frosted Flakes. The Mets get Frosty's Corn Flakes. Born in West Philadelphia, Will Smith is such an icon, he doesn't need a corporation. He's his own business, and Philly is his city. The Houston Astros bent the rules and cheated their way to glory as deceitful World Series champions. They screwed over everyone else to enrich themselves, raising questions about the legitimacy of the entire system. Lehman Brothers. For those of you born after 2004 or you don't get the reference, you need that ad more than anyone. And now Boston. Boston fans have developed a notorious reputation for being the most racist fans, and it's not entirely unearned. Sure, as with any place, there are fundamental issues within the city. Bostonians aggressively resisted desegregation. Currently, the median net worth for white families in Boston is over $247,000, whereas the median net worth of black families in Boston is just $8. But Boston, your sports alone raise red flags for concern. The Red Sox were the last team in baseball to integrate. Heck, Adam Jones was called the N-word by fans at Fenway Park just 5 years ago. It's nothing to proudly wear, but your jersey sponsorship was easy. Better ingredients, more ignorance and racism, Papa John's. That's all the time we have for Buzzin' with Blau, and there's a lot more great show left, but before we go to break, we here at the Water Cooler wanted to pass along our condolences to the family of USC football assistant coach Dave Nickel, who passed away Friday, March 25th at the age of 45. Nickel was survived by his father, Robert Sr., his brothers, Jimmy and Robert Jr., and the rest of his loving family. Fight on forever. We'll be right back.
You love Uber Eats, the #1 app for getting your favorite local and chain foods delivered right to your door. Uber Eats is proud to present Uber Feeds. We want to go all the way for our customers, which is why we will have Uber Feeds delivery drivers literally feed your meal to you. Safety is our #1 priority, which is why every driver is vaccinated. Better yet, download now and get a delivery and feeding absolutely free. Uber Feeds, stuffed in more ways than one. You love Uber Eats, the #1 app for getting your favorite local and chain foods delivered right to your door. Uber Eats is proud to present Uber Feeds. We want to go all the way for our customers, which is why we will have Uber Feeds delivery drivers literally feed your meal to you. Safety is our #1 priority, which is why every driver is vaccinated. Better yet, download now and get a delivery and feeding absolutely free. Uber Feeds, stuffed in more ways than one.
Welcome back to the water cooler. Reagan Griffin Jr. and Skylar Treppel have joined me here on the desk, and you know they're itching to talk basketball. But we're going to start with a pretty serious discussion regarding WNBA star Brittney Griner. Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport last month when she got off a flight from New York. Russian customs officials said she had hashish oil cartridges in her bag, which were detected by a dog. Griner could face up to 10 years in one of Russia's notorious detention centers, as the country's invasion of Ukraine and its standoff with the West rages on. There are so many implications to break down within the situation, but guys, Reagan, how do you feel about the whole situation?
So we're coming up on a month now that Brittney Griner's been detained with no end in sight, right? She's facing up to 10 years in prison. And I'd like to say that I'm surprised at the fact that this isn't getting more attention, but somber reality is I'm not. Like, we've proven time and again as a society the things in the communities that we're willing to give our attention and energy to, and the things that we're not willing to give that same attention and energy to. And I feel it appropriate to introduce a term coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, one of the scholar activists active today, called intersectionality. And it's essentially the concept that different identities, different experiences, different categories of social, being can converge to create a unique experience when you're experiencing them simultaneously, right? So if you are Black and LGBTQIA, that is a specific and unique experience. And I'm bringing this up because I believe that the WNBA in the context of sports epitomizes this idea of intersectionality. It's a league that is made up of largely Black women. Yep. It's a league that features a lot of LGBTQIA people, and it's a league made up entirely of women. So when we think about who are the most marginalized communities in our society, a lot of it's featured in the WNBA. And I think it's a pretty glaring indictment about who we are as a society that somebody like Brittney Griner cannot get the attention that she deserves and the help that she needs from us, the attention that she needs from us, the mobilization that she needs from us. And it's extremely frustrating to observe, but like I said at the top, I'm truly not surprised.
Well, I think that's exactly why we're here talking about it right now, because it's so important and really should be the most important story in America. Building on what you said about intersectionality, Malcolm X said, the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman, which the WNBA is largely comprised of. Let's look, first of all, why was she in Russia in the first place? Because WNBA players, unlike NBA players with their multi-million-dollar contracts, are going to Russia to have to play to make 4 times as much money as they do in the WNBA in the off-season. It's just disgraceful, and it can't stand, and it doesn't fit with where we're going as a society and towards equality at all. I think that, again, this is the most important story to pay attention to, because with the political implications, it will get bigger. And the longer people try to stay silent about it, the more it's going to bubble up, and the more the country will have to take a look at themselves why they stayed silent on such an important story. And the WNBA, because of all of the intersectionality that Reagan mentioned, has always been the main league for activism. They've started all this stuff before anyone else in the modern era, of course. And so I really believe that this season will be one of the most interesting ever to pay attention to in the WNBA, because if Brittney Griner is not free by then, there's going to be a lot said, and let me just make it very clear, free Brittney Griner. It's one of the most important stories in America right now.
Absolutely. The NBA regular season ends in just 10 days, and every game matters as we're keeping close tabs on the playoff race. It is the perfect time to play a game we like to call Contender or Pretender. Let's get our heads in the game. The concept of the game is simple. I'll name a team, you tell me whether they're a real threat or a fraud. All right, let's start with the Golden State Warriors. Contender or Pretender?
So, on one of our first shows of the season, I think it was, I came on the water cooler and I said, the Golden State Warriors will be the NBA champions. And I got to eat those words. I didn't see this coming, but with the injury to Stephen Curry, I think that's the nail in the coffin for this team. They've been just a little bit too disjointed, particularly in the second half of the season post All-Star break, with injuries, with inconsistent play. It's just not clicking enough for this team to win it all this year. I'm going to say they're a pretender.
I think that they were doing really good when Steph Curry came back. I still think they're a contender because we haven't seen Dre, Clay, and Steph play together again. And I think that once they play together again, it's going to be fantastic. We even saw last night they nearly beat the top team in the West, the Phoenix Suns. And so I think they are still the team or one of the teams to beat, and maybe the team to beat when Steph Curry comes back.
All right, what about the Memphis Grizzlies?
I'm going to let you go first on this.
They are a contender. This is the number 2 team in the NBA right now. They're 1 win away from clinching home court advantage throughout the entirety of the playoffs. They're 15-2 without MVP candidate Ja Morant on the court. If they're not a contender, who is, I ask you?
You know, I firmly believe the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant will win a championship, just not this year.
Why?
They do
You
not
always
have
do
the
that.
experience
You always do that to me.
carry it into the playoffs, this regular season success. You don't get these wins with no superstars.
Let me ask
in
you
the
something.
playoffs.
Did they need experience when they beat the Golden State Warriors in the play-in last year?
No, they didn't. But how far did they go?
I mean, they played the freaking.
And they'll get a little bit further this year. That's why I'm saying next year, but just baby steps, I
It's
think.
this year. Come on.
Skylar
901 or die.
Skylar loves an older team, but
That's true.
How's that working for you now? Let's talk about.
It's worked pretty well for my whole life.
Quick takes on the Chicago
Shots
Bulls.
fired. Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Chicago Bulls, quick takes.
No, not at all. I'm out on it.
Total pretenders, they are 0-16 versus top 3 teams, but the 96 Chicago Bulls won as one of the oldest NBA teams in history. So there you go.
All right.
You tied that in pretty well. Give me that. You tied that in.
All right, last but not least, the Boston Celtics.
See, I when we did this at the top of the week, I was so ready to say contender because they've been rolling, and defensively they've been clicking so well as a unit. But with the injury to Robert Williams, I just don't know if they have enough firepower on the defensive end to go all the way. The perimeter defense is going to be very good with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. But without an anchor, I'm not sure they're going to have enough firepower defensively to withhold the Brooklyn Nets, the Miami Heat, those Eastern Conference teams, the Milwaukee Bucks from taking it all the way.
Well, again, having watched basketball my whole life, I do find that the older teams do win. I don't think the Celtics are there yet. And I think they really proved that, unfortunately, last night against the Miami Heat, where they were making those mistakes at the end where they just didn't have their composure, the late technical fouls, and just playing one-on-one basketball. They got to get back to their ball movement ways, and I think Jason Tatum gets a little bit older and he'll just be unstoppable.
All right, now let's see which one of you guys is a contender and which one is a pretender in my favorite segment here on the show, The Great Debate. We're actually moving from the court to the field for today's question. Are you guys ready?
I'm born ready.
All right. Who took home the award for most impactful offseason moves in the NFL? The quarterbacks or the field?
Okay. I am going to go with the field.
All right.
I recognize that quarterback is the most important position on the field. However, no football team ever in the history of the game since it's been created has ever won with just a good quarterback. You need 22 players all working functionally as a unit to go perform well. And when you look at the holes that other teams have been able to fill in terms of those other 21 guys outside of the quarterback position, those have been where the moves took teams from good teams to great teams to elite teams this offseason. When we talk about Von Miller filling in with the Buffalo Bills, we saw what Buffalo did last year with Josh Allen, right? You add Von Miller. We saw what happened when you add Von Miller to the LA Rams. That's a team that just got from conference title contender to Super Bowl contender. You talk about a team like Bobby Wagner, a guy like Bobby Wagner going to the LA Rams, they just won the Super Bowl. And now you're talking about an all-time great, arguably one of the, if not the greatest middle linebackers to ever play this game, added to that unit. So you have a defensive lineman that's elite, a linebacker that's elite, and a defensive back that's elite. That is making you a Super Bowl contender. We talk about Devontae Adams to the Raiders, your Raiders page. Come on, Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. Like, you're talking about speed down the field that you just cannot match. I gotta go with the field here. I gotta go with the field.
I mean, I love Tyreek, but it's just, I don't know how he can perform in Miami right away. But what I really want to bring up here is, look, those are all great points. Those are all great moves. But everyone else is playing checkers. Well, the GOAT Tom Brady is playing chess. This dude just unretired, and they got Russell Gage, who was actually one of the best receivers and the best receiver in Atlanta last year when there were a lot of injuries there. He led the league in passing touchdowns and passing yards and just broke the all-time completion record. And now he's going to have more control of the offense with Bruce Arians gone. I mean, he's the GOAT unretiring. And with Chris Godwin back as well, no Antonio Brown leaving, I think they're Super Bowl bound, almost guaranteed. And then you got Russell Wilson, who goes to the Denver Broncos. And they already have a top 5 NFL defense.
Yeah.
And also, he's got an offensive coach with him, which is what Russell Wilson, needs definitely at this stage in his career after being with Pete Carroll. And then he's got the best running back since Marshawn Lynch in Javonte Williams. And last but not least, solid receiving core. And
really good receiving core, honestly.
He's been training with some of those receivers. And he's been doing, and they also have Judy, and he was the Biletnikoff winner in 2018. So I think he's going to go up. We got Matt Ryan going to the Colts. He's nice.
What year is it?
Oh, yeah.
What?
I was like, what year is it?
2018.
I'm saying, what year is it today?
Oh, today, not today.
Playing with you.
He's 22. We're gonna call him washed up already.
I'm playing now.
But yeah. I think just with Matt Ryan going to the Colts, I still have to take the quarterbacks over the field for right now. I just don't think we have to see the impact of Tyreek Hill in the Dolphins. But if they can make noise, you never know.
So I'll ask you this, because between last year and this year, Tom Brady, we did not expect Tom Brady to retire. He did, and then he didn't.
Yeah.
So what really changed? You know what I mean? When I talk about what changed within the NFL this offseason, it was the field. I recognize Russell Wilson. I recognize Deshaun Watson, which I really don't even want to address that because that's very much up in the air.
Brutal situation.
But outside of those two dudes, I don't see a whole lot of things that are fundamentally shifting what the playoff and Super Bowl outlook is in the NFL when it relates to the quarterbacks. What changed astronomically? When I see what happened with, am I cutting off? Am I getting cut off?
I have to cut you guys off, and I don't know if there's a clear winner here. I genuinely don't know, but you guys know I always hate breaking you up. We're coming up on the end of the show, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for final memos. Jordan Poole doomed the Warriors with a premature half-court shot in last night's 107-103 loss to the Suns. Let's check it out.
I actually didn't see this.
All right, 4 whole seconds left.
He had so much time on the clock.
You know what's funny? Matt Barnes did that in Memphis, and he actually made it. It was crazy.
Well, I mean,
He's
would have been great if he did make it.
Not Steph Curry. He thought he was. Should have gotten to the three-point line, and they could have tied it up.
Well, is that the worst half-court shot ever? I think not. I have not seen it with my own eyes, but I heard our executive producer, Daniel Halpern, has given Poole a run for his money. Let's check it out.
Let's see it. Oh, this is in a rec league game.
This is legit. This is Daniel Halpern.
Whoa.
He made
Money, that was money.
He made that?
Off the tip.
Off the tip.
And they're calling.
That was a choice. That was a choice.
No such thing as a bad half-court shot, everybody.
LaMelo Ball.
The real
Did you
MVP.
say I saw him point to the half-court line, too. That was, okay, Daniel, I see you.
Okay.
No, he didn't point. He didn't point.
All right.
But in my mind, he did.
Gotcha.
You know? That's crazy. Okay. All right.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you right back here next week.